Your knowledge of contract language is imperative.
You must know what a violation looks like if you wish to be active in its cessation.
It is important to understand that being active and knowledgeable affects your overall bargaining strength.
Together with the cause of more militant NALC.
Good morning, and welcome back to Parcels of Knowledge, that podcast dedicated to delivering knowledge to the city letter carrier with your host, the Roseville Wrecking Ball. Today, we will be talking about the sexiest article of the contract, Article 8. Everyone knows her. She looks a little bit different during the December Exclusionary Period. And that's what we need to focus on, because I've been getting a lot of questions about it. Now, my Q&A investigative interview series is going to be expanded and will be a regular series, especially with the 2026 season of elections hot on the horizon. With that being said, I will be booking up either once or twice a month candidates that will be running for office. I will really love for you region-specific folks to be submitting questions, but I'll take questions from everybody. I would like to announce that I am having a Q&A beginning of January with Debbie Dixon, who is Region 2's NBA candidate for the CLC this upcoming election. As always, please submit questions to me via my email, rosevillewreckingball@yahoo.com, and I will ask her everything that you submit, hard ones, easy ones, ones about her personally. Shoot her anything you'd like to know, and you will find your answer. You will have until Christmas to submit these questions to me. The email will be in the podcast description. I already have the next two candidates booked, which are David Groskoff and then Kamitra Lewis. If you are a candidate and would like to be booked, please contact me via the same email. I look forward to all three of these interviews, but for now we will focus on Miss Dixon. So don't send me questions early for the other two, or we will not ask them, because I will probably not be able to find them anymore. I'm only focusing on one person at a time. And I want to just tell my branch 4374, South Macomb listeners, that I am proud of you for what happened last branch meeting. There were a number of branch bylaw proposals that were potentially bad for us, and 2 dues increases that were proposed. I'm proud of you guys for showing up and voting down most of the ones that were not that great. The 2 dues increases got through, unfortunately. One for the regular members and one for the retirees. But the active member one was really close. It was like 26-24, something like that. If we only had a few more people there, we probably could have stopped it. Yeah, I look forward to the future, though. It looks like we will need people there to participate, and you guys will be willing to show up and vote. I am trying to start up a branch-wide caucus of like-minded individuals who will show up to vote whenever we need something like this again. Hopefully, those of you who are interested can contact me regarding this. So, on to the main event. Article 8 is one of those things that sometimes you just have to hear it over and over again, and it's about repetition. And when you get it down, you'll have it down for good. At least until they change it again, of course, because they're always doing stupid shit. I found an NALC recap of important things to note and added a bit of what I like and thought was important. So that's what this episode will be about. It'll be short and sweet, unlike that Corey episode that I did last time, which was awesome. You know, Walton is a stand-up guy. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that one. It looks like you did, you know. Corey's the podcast god over here. He's got me gotten a whole lot of listens that day, I guess. But I've been getting a lot of questions about management's right to avoid penalty overtime. That's not how the questions are posed, but I know that's what it's about when they ask me. Article 8 has a provision, the letter carrier paragraph. And what comes up with the letter carrier paragraph is essentially a pecking order for distributing overtime. One particular feature of this that in most situations in Article 8, management must mandate the ODL prior to mandating the non-ODL. But in the situation of a non-ODL's own route, management may mandate them to work overtime on their own route if all ODLs are in a penalty status. That is, a non-ODL at the regular overtime rate can work their own assignment prior to forcing an ODL on penalty to provide auxiliary assistance. This only applies to the non-ODL's own assignment, not off of assignment overtime. This takes another shape during the December penalty exclusionary period, because many carriers think in hours rather than rates, such as over 10 hours and over 8 hours. They don't think overtime rate and penalty rate. They may be confused during the penalty overtime exclusionary period about when carriers may be mandated. Because there is no penalty overtime, there is no forcing a non-ODL beyond 8 hours until maximizing the ODL, rather than 10 hours like it usually would be. That would potentially provide a little bit more relief for the non-ODL this season on those days where mandation isn't necessary. But we all know how this will be going. Management will likely be doing it anyway because their knowledge of the contract is about as deep as a kiddie pool in the middle of summer. Make sure we are filing for missed opportunities for the ODL and mandation of the non-ODL. If management mandates a non-ODL when there were ODLs available to work. Typically, I get less violations in December, but sometimes I get more, so it all depends on what's going on, and it depends on what management does. Now, keep in mind that although this is the penalty exclusionary period, the new bargain for 2.5 times rate for work beyond 12 and 60 remains still in effect. This is an all-year rate. The reason being is when they got the penalty rate, it was never including December. This new negotiation did not put that specification on the new rate. So it's an all-year rate. And I think that carriers wanted it to be an all-year rate anyway, just like they want the penalty rate to be an all-year rate. So I think this is technically a good thing. But don't think that makes Brian Renfro look any better, because he's still got a lot of problems. So another thing to consider during this season is hour limitations. Non-ODLs have the right to refuse overtime beyond the 12 and 60 hour limitations. That is 12 hours in a day or 60 hours in a week. And CCAs and PTFs will remain capped at 11.5 hours in a day under ELM 43232. Work assignment carriers forced off their own assignment remain treated as non-ODLs and revert to the 11.5 hour cap as well that is found in ELM 43232. And the CCAs and PTFs, which are in the beginning weeks 1 through 8, will have to maintain their limitations under the NERP MOU. This can be found in M 2010. Also, keep in mind, another limitation change during this season is Article 8.5F. Article 8.5F is a nice rule. It maintains that no non-ODL may be forced beyond 10 hours in a day, more than 4 of their 5 scheduled shifts be overtime, and a few other limitations. But this does not apply during the December exclusionary period. I think that's the reason why I get a lot less Article 8 violations, because Article 8.5F completely disappears. Only for the December exclusionary period. Also, Article 8.5F does not apply to ODLs. Management likes to think they have to give an ODL an 8-hour day under Article 8.5F, but this is not a contractual right. In fact, ODLs don't have that limitation. They do have a right to give you an 8-hour day, but don't let them confuse you. They're going to say it's contractual. It's not. It's not something that the contract enforces. Remember, they must first schedule NS-Day ODL first, up to 8 hours prior to mandating non-ODL in on Sundays and on non-scheduled days. Also, don't forget those NS-Day ODL. There's two different kinds. There's ones that are only forced up to 8 hours and ones that are forced beyond 8 hours. Now, the beyond 8 hours is only because they signed both lists. It doesn't mean the NS-Day list can be forced beyond 8 hours. They're two different overtime lists. So keep in mind that they're separate calculations for equitability as well. All right, so one thing non-Article 8 related that is also important during the December exclusionary period is that you do not have to fill out Section J of your 3996. Be sure to fill out 3996s. These are very important documents which will help in the filing of grievances regarding overtime, such as Article 8 grievances. These documents are controlling documents as dictated by the handbooks and manuals. If you are to go over 8 hours on your assignment that day, be sure to fill one out. They have to be given to you upon request by your immediate supervisor. If they are not, go see a steward immediately. Section J is the section that requires you to relay the reason for your auxiliary assistance need. This can be left blank during this December exclusionary period, and if your manager is giving you a hard time about it, flip the document over. I believe the instructions are right on the back, and it tells you right there it can be left blank during December. Now, because we have 2 holidays coming up, and management will probably desperately violate your rights under restricted sick leave and other leave provisions, and they'll call it deems desirable. I'm going to be doing an episode on that next week. Be sure to tune in for that one, because it's going to be important, because it will be very relevant if it's not being violated already. Also, one other thing to keep in mind before I let you go, your leave advancements that you get every year come at the beginning of the leave year. The leave year starts on pay period 3, which this time starts on January 10th, 2026. This is the first day you will be able to use your newly advanced leave balances. This can be found in ELM 512.12. Also, for you stewards out there or whoever takes care of it based on your LMOU, make sure you're taking care of them vacation schedules. Amy, I'm looking at you. I know you got to take care of your vacation schedule. I know I'm calling her out, but we all can get busy during this season. So make sure you're taking care of that schedule. Hopefully you learned something valuable today. And as always, have a good day.
Out to the Roseville Wrecking Ball. He is an Article 8 scholar, and thank God, we need Article 8 scholars right now. The Grievous Genius and the Roseville Wrecking Ball doing amazing work.
Brothers and sisters, this guy is good, man. He's fucking good.
And my boy Joshua, he killed it. Man, he's lockstep right now. He's killing it.
You would think this guy has been around